Prachi here with another expansion video. In this one, I'll be going over Sasha's expansion, the latest one to come out. I'm a few weeks late. I'm a huge fan of Sasha, and he's been a huge influence on EDM in general. A couple weeks ago, I was driving home from a trip, and I decided to sit in the passenger seat and just see what I could come up with. So played around with the different kits and the different sounds. So I'm going to show you what I came up with on the road, walk you through some of the patches, and then we'll try starting something from scratch just to have some fun. So let's check it out. So here's my first idea. Let me just play it for you and then we'll talk about the sounds. So there you go, there was my first idea. Probably spent a good hour and a half on that one, exploring the sounds. And let's just look at what I've got. This detoured kit was the thing that started off this little idea. It's so fun exploring kind of housey EDM a little bit more. I haven't been playing around with that as much lately, and I just love some of these sounds in there. Kind of got a bit of a Chemical Brothers thing going on in there too, but really nice drum sounds. Clicky, sort of glitchy stuff, and then this next thing. So that one went with the kit right off, and just love these kind of bell sounds. So there you go, that's a nice little bell sampler. A lot of these sounds are just samples. So we'll go look through the library in a second after we talk about this little song, but there is the bell sound that kind of defines this little tune. Here we've got a bass sound. Really nice clicky sort of sound, just playing all this stuff on the pads. And then we got a square, another sample, I do believe. Let's have a look. Yeah, another sample. So this one was fun. That one was just a neat experiment where I was just playing with clusters of notes in a key. So for that sound, I put it on keyboard mode, and then I just put it to a minor scale, and then just started playing these clustery sort of sounds. So don't be afraid to put things in keyboard mode. Try some of these clusters out. Eventually you'll get a little pattern. And of course you could go figure out what chords you're playing, but it's almost more fun to just be kind of experimental with it and not go in traditional chord patterns, like putting it in chord mode, but actually stay in keyboard mode and just sort of play with some clustery sounds and see what happens. I get really inspired playing with Maschine, even though I'm a piano player. It's just kind of fun trying things out with this, and just to keep yourself doing something fresh as opposed to relying on some of your old tricks. Okay, so the next one we've got here is another Calliope sort of sound. Okay, so what this one is it's just the same patch as this D one right here. So let's listen to both of them. So that's the same patch. All I did was pan one to the left and one to the right, and then just kind of did different things with those two different patches. And then we've got these other kits that come in with some really neat sounds. And then this last one is So some really great ambient sounds that allow you to sort of break up the monotony of a beat, but still have some repetition that goes on. So let's listen to just the whole end of that piece again. So just kind of a fun ambient little EDM piece, EDM style, I guess, ish, but that was what came out. So I love approaching Maschine expansions and then not having anything, specific in mind, but getting inspired and then seeing what happens. So let's go look at the expansion, see what you've got. So I'm going to go over to groups, and then I'm going to go to Sasha, and we've got 35 kits in here. I used both of those crunchy sound kits, ModCon 1 and 2, in this little piece right here. It's just kind of a fresh and inspiring take on EDM music, and I feel like everything in here isn't like some kind of harkening back to old stuff, but something that you could use in modern productions and sound really, really unique. We've got 93 sounds in here. So I found a lot of the sounds in this one. And so these are just going to load up as a sampler. And then, of course, you can see what kinds we've got. We've got drum synths, and then we've got instruments in here as well. So 10 different instruments. And then if I go over to one-shots, we've got 638 one-shots, so a ton of samples in here. And of course, you can get them through thinning them out with the browser here. So lots of synth sounds, lots of hits, and then we've also got patches for Monarch and Massive as well. Also 306 loops. Okay, so here is another little idea, and this one is just kind of one little beat, one little verse. But let's have a look at the sounds that I've got in here. I'm just using this Baracus kit at the beginning here just for some sound effects. And this one's got a really neat, long, evolving sound in it. Let's listen to that. And I went for a slower tempo on this one as well, which is, most of them are at 120, 125 beats per minute as far as the loops go, but doesn't mean you can't work in different tempos. So this is one of the Massive patches, and in this one it's actually called Bass Pulse Chords. Really nice patch. And by the way, if you're looking for patches in any of these kind of expansions, a really easy way to do it is just to go over to Instruments, and if you know that there's Massive or Monarch patches in here, just go to the synthesizer that you're wanting to work with. Let's go to Massive, and then once you load up Massive, you can just filter it out by Sasha right here. And now we can see all of the Sasha patches that go with Massive, and then you can just go through and have a listen to them. Really quick way to find the sounds specific to a synthesizer in an expansion. So that's how I found this one here, this little Bass Pulse Chords. Nice, really nice synth sound. And let's have a listen to some of the other sounds in here. We've got I love how fresh and inspiring these sounds are. They're not just bass and drums sounds that I've got a million samples of already. So really inspiring kits that bring some kind of different aspect to this kind of EDM music or whatever music you're making. So that's the cassette kit. And then I've got, so this one is just electric piano samples. Just played a couple samples in there, came up with something that sounded nice, and I like that ambient sort of electric piano sound. And then I've got one more loop in here. And that's just a loop I've got playing over. And if I'd spent more time on this, I probably would have chopped it up in the sampler and then played it. But as it is, it's just adding a little percussive element to this little idea. Let's have a listen to the whole thing now. And here is another idea. So that one's a little bit more traditional house music. And I've got the Scarpa Falls kit. And that one's already got a kick that's got a side chain sort of feel to it. That's wop, wop. And I think I based the tempo of the song off of when that timing of that little other half of that kick drum actually works. So that's how we get the sound on that one. And then we've got another group here. Simple little loop. This one here is another massive preset. So that's the Lush String Orchestra Pad. Got some bit of detuning action happening on that one. And then we've got a lead here, Fukushima lead. All right, let's listen to that one. And then we've got sort of a classic wub wub lead. Okay, so let's try making something from scratch. Let's try this View 2 kit. And maybe let's try one more kit out. Okay, so this is the Werewolf sound effects kit. And let's go for another sound. Let's go to synthesizers and go to massive. And then we are going to just look for the Sasha sounds. And because I've got Sasha on the computer now, I can just cycle through these and listen for sounds. Let's try this one, see what happens. And we'll make a new group, go over here, and let's maybe see if there's some loops that we could toss in there and do something fun with. So we're just going to load up this BOTN one here. It's going to be an audio module. Let's try playing that. Let's put a little bit of reverb on there just to give it some space. The room size a bit bigger. So let's go back over to Massive, and we'll try some of those presets out again. See if we can find a bass patch. More like that. So I go to keyboard mode. I'm on a minor key right now, but I need to get this into the key of the song. There we go. Now we're in G minor. Here. Let's go to the Monarch patches now. So we'll go to and then let's go back to one more Massive patch. See if we can finish off something here. Okay, so we're going to try this pulse width modulation, PWM Epic Emotion Pad. I think this is going to be amazing. I'm going to go over to chords mode, and in chords mode, I'm going to go to the chord set, and we're going to keep it on minor. I know the first chord is a G minor, and then the next one is a B flat major. Right here. And then the next one is an E flat major. And then the next one is an F. Or all right, here we go. Nice. Okay, so those chords sound amazing. And just because I know the chords that I was using that chord set gives me a much more interesting result than just playing the basic triads on chord mode. And let's hear the whole thing one more time. Nice, well I think that gives you an idea of the sounds that are in this expansion. If you're new to my channel, go check out my old stuff. I've got lots of reviews, lots of software, and I'm going to be making a lot more videos in the coming months. So hit the subscribe button and the bell, and we'll see you in the next video.